Okay, so good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible and visible. So I'll start now. Welcome everybody. Greetings. I'm Tanmay Patil, and I will be the host for the day. And it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome your our speaker of the day, Mr. Vignesh Narayanan. I would like to welcome the organizing committee members of Vazir Model United Nations and Vazir Youth Parliament to this orientation session on the topic how to research. So I'll be introducing the institutions which have brought about this webinar. First of all, our college, VG Wazi College, is a multi-faculty institution established in 1984 by the trust. Wazi College is the first NAC accredited college in the state of Maharashtra with top 5-star ranking and was re-accredited in the second cycle with A grade in 2005, as well as in the third cycle in 2012. A junior college is awarded with A grade by Maharashtra State Board of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education. It is one of the finest teaching learning education institutions in the country and has emerged as a role model for the quality academic institutions. So, talking about Wazi Model United Nations, it was established in the year 2017 by the then 12th grade students who wished to bring about a change in our college. They wanted to give something back to the college that was shaping them to become the leaders of tomorrow, hence developing a cycle which accelerated their curiosity to learn and explore more about politics and international relations. Waze MUN has expanded tremendously ever since. A conference organized by the junior college students for the students of all age groups, we at Waziman aim to become one of the finest conferences in the city, which will give a platform to everyone to open new doors for themselves and rise up to their fullest potential. We believe that learning and gaining knowledge is an endless process. Keeping in mind that the aims and vision of our founding members, we wish to diversify Waziman legacy. So I'll be describing our speaker for the evening, Mr. Vignesh Narayanan, sir, now. So Vignesh Narayanan is currently pursuing law from D.Y. Patil College of Law, Mumbai. Vignesh Narayanan is one of the most friendly and encouraging personalities you'll ever come across. He possesses unparalleled experience in the MUN sector as a delegate executive board member and an organizing committee member, as well as he has been a secretariat member for various conferences in Mumbai and South India. Hence, it is fair to say Vignesh has probably and quite literally seen it all. He's a he is very passionate about international relations. Plato's famous quote, he who wishes to serve his country must not only have the power to think, but the will to act is what motivates him. Also, another fact to mention is that Vignesh Narayanan sir has been the advisor for the previous edition of Vaze Youth Parliament, and since the maiden edition of Vaze MUN, he has been associated to this conference. So now I would like to request all the attendees to kindly type your questions in the chat box whenever the speaker says so. And towards Manas Patil, sir, we will accommodate these questions towards the end of the session, and it is recommended all the attendees should keep their videos on and microphones on mute at all times. Now, I would like to welcome our speaker, Mr. Vignesh Narayanan, sir, to take over. So you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanmay, Manas, Sejal. I have been associated with Vaze MUN since the very first edition, as Tanmay rightly said, and I'm very proud to see at what position today is at, like Vazeman has grown in the circuit. So today, basically, I'm here to explain on how to research for an MUN. And I do not want to have a unilateral session where I keep on talking. I do have certain PowerPoints which I'd be sharing and explaining your things. But before that, just is the raise hand option open, like Tanmay? Is the raise hand option open?
I'll just check it once.
Yeah, so participants can raise their hand, right? If I
Yes,
ask something. Okay, so just by raise hand, tell me how many of you have attended or heard about this term, Model United Nations. I'm going to start from very basic. Heard about this Model United Nations. Suna sa naam lag raha hai, do char log bolte gaye, 2 to 4 people asked me, what is MUN and all. Okay, excellent. Considerable people have heard about it. Okay, let me tell you what a Model United Nation is first, and then I'm going to proceed ahead. Everyone can put your hands down. Simple. model United Nations is a stimulation, or is a, how do you say, academic stimulation, in other words, of the actual United Nation. Okay, just a stimulation. It's just how it works. It's a model stimulation of the actual United Nations. Now, I'm going to first explain you all what the United Nations consists of, and then move on to making you understand the correlation with it, with research, and proceed ahead. So if the OC could share the presentation's first slide. Thank you, Sejal. So yes, we'll move on to the next slide, Sejal. Yeah, perfect. Very basic thing, and this might be her 24th October is a UN day, and you celebrate. 24th October was a day this organization got established. Okay, I will tell you all in simple words. I apologize for. Yes, I'll tell you in simple words what is the objective of United Nations organization was to maintain international peace and harmony, and it was established in 1945. Can anyone tell me 1945 ke pehle which event happened? A very global event happened. Can anyone tell me what event happened for the UN to come into force? Anyone can unmute and tell. It's actually a bit inconvenient for me. Okay, I have chat box in my place. Just a minute. Yeah, everyone can put in everyone's chat. That's not a problem at all. Please put it in everyone. I think the message. Okay, is the message is directed towards me? Okay. Okay. Right. I've got a lot of answers which are correct. Is World War II. Excellent. World War II happened, and then there was considerable amount of failure of something known as League of Nations. I'm not going to go into too much history of UN. I just want you all to explain the objectives of UN first place. So the objective is simple as that, to maintain international peace and harmony. Now, coming to what are the 6 basic organs of UN. I just want you all to have a look at it. I'm not going to read it loud. Just have a look at it for 1 minute, and then can the slide be switched? Right. Can a slide be switched? I think everybody has had a view of it. Yes, these are certain agencies of the United Nations. Okay. Now, agencies have a bit of different responsibility. There are 6 organs. Trusteeship Council is not that active at the current position. So this is what is the UN. This is what UN's objectives are. This is what the UN structure is. Is everyone clear of this concept? Because this concept is directly relevant to what I'm going to explain you all in research. Okay. So yes, we'll move on to the next slide. Yes, interesting. This is something which I wanted to communicate before I go further. Can anyone read this aloud? What is written? Anyone? Any one of you? Yeah. Dinesh Ahire, go ahead. Sorry, Ritika Ahire, yes.
How to research for an MUN is a very subjective topic in nature. Its approach differs from person to person. This approach on how to research, which I would be sharing, is to be understood from a subjective perspective. It is purely based on my experience.
Perfect. To keep it very simple, there is no laid down rules for research. Ek hi tarika. There are 100 ways to research. There are a lot of ways to approach for preparing for an MUN. This method which I'm going to suggest is something which I would be following, which I do generally follow for my preparations when I used to delegate actively as this method. And this is a recommendation from mine. This could be considered. This is subjected to your perspective. Based on this, you will get an idea on how to research, and then you build your own this thing. So I request you all again to take it from a very subjective perspective. Can we have a next slide? Yes, I'm not going to take much time on it. Mans has a lot of purpose on it. And then we will address this networking, public speaking, and a lot of understanding of the UN, how it functions, and partially in regards to the resume and awards. Can we proceed ahead? Yes. First basic thing, I know many of you might have been to months. This is very important to understand. You receive 4 things after you register for an MUN. You receive your committee, you receive your country, you receive your study guide, and you receive the agenda on which the discussion is going to happen in the committee. Okay. Am I very clear till this? What do you receive once you register, complete the registration process of an MUN? Can anyone unmute and tell me till this? Is it clear? Anyone, any participant? Is it clear? Yes, Ritika.
Yes, it is clear.
Yeah, perfect. Can we go on to the next slide? Right. Now I'm going to explain you all something. Okay. Generally in MUNs, okay. Do this after we complete the session. You go type any MUN's name in Instagram or any social media handle. There are different committees an MUN will have. Now, the committees could be any of the organ which I mentioned earlier. It could be any of the agency. It could be any specialized regional organization as well, which they stimulate. Okay. So hence, this is a classification again, which I follow. I classify committees which exist in an MUN conference into 2 types: international committees and Indian committees. Okay. Now, international committees is basically a committee where countries will be represented. Okay. Various organs of UN are stimulated or agencies are stimulated. That is international committee. Okay. Indian committees are like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, or the AIPPM and all. Okay. Can we go further ahead? Is this clear on what are the basic 2 types of committees which are there? Very basic thing. I mean, it's very, very basic. What are the 2 types of committee which are there? Can anyone just let me know by unmuting or putting it in the chat box as well? Perfect. Perfect. Now I come to this. I want everyone to pay attention to this very carefully. This is how I classify international committees. And the first step for you all to understand is before you register, you classify into which committee does exist, which one do you want to go. First comes humanitarian committees. What are examples of humanitarian committees and how can you say a committee is humanitarian committee? Okay. Human Rights Council, the SOCM, the United Nations Women, the United Nations UNCSW. So now, basic thing to explain, humanitarian committee is a committee which deals with exclusively human rights violation, various issues pertaining to human rights, rights of women, minorities' rights, anything and everything related to human rights ambit, and a very, how do I say, humanitarian perspective is to be understood. Gross rights of a citizen or of any international stakeholder, in simple words, I must say, wherein human rights are directly or indirectly involved, comes under humanitarian committee. Okay. Next, I come to GA. Now, General Assembly is basically an organ of the UN. Now, General Assembly has 6 types of committees. Okay. I won't go technical. I just wanted to understand from classification set. कि अरे कल मैंने UNW देखा तो मुझे immediately समझ आया वो एक humanitarian committee है. Okay, fine. UNHRC humanitarian committee. SOCM humanitarian committee. Why? It discusses about human rights. Simple. General Assembly has these 6 types of committees, which are DISEC, ECOFIN, SOCM. Again, SOCM comes in both types, if you notice. Even it's one of the GA committees. It's also a humanitarian committee because it deals with a lot of human rights aspect. SPECPOL, administrative committee, and the GA legal. The administrative committee is not stimulated. GA legal is pretty technical. DISEC stands for Disarmament and International Security Committee. SPECPOL stands for Special Political Decolonization Committee. So these committees basically are more or less 6 main types of GA committee. Next, you might have heard this, United Nations Security Council, which is one of the most important organ of the UN that is stimulated. Then you have economic committees as another type. Any economic agenda, you are smart enough to understand what is economic agenda and what is not. ECOSOC, which is an organ of the UN, which I earlier told. ECOFIN, again, ECOFIN is something which is again a GA committee. It comes even under economic committee, World Economic Forum. Then there are specialized committees like the OIC. Then you have AI for Good Global Summit. Okay, am I very clear with how international committees can be classified in these 5 types? Can anyone unmute and just tell, is this clear? Absolutely clear, very easy to understand. Yeah, Ritika.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Can we go to the next slide? Now, as I said, Indian committee, I'm not going to go too much into Indian committees because a large part of Indian committees are stimulated in youth parliaments. I'm just explaining for everyone understanding, okay? Indian committees are classified into parliamentary and non-parliamentary. Parliamentary simple, which is stimulated actual parliament में ये houses stimulate होते जैसे लोकसभा हो, राज्यसभा हो और joint session हो. Apart from these three or any legislative assembly जैसे MLA वगैरह वो सब फिर भी parliamentary में माना जाएगा because it's laid down. But however, non-parliamentary अपना AIPPM, AIOPM and these committees which are not prescribed and which do not work under parliamentary conduct or parliamentary prescribed nahi hai. It is an comparatively informal stimulation compared to these formal stimulations like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. So this is how Indian committees are classified. Okay. Now, it ideally shouldn't be, but there are some MUNs which have even Indian committee as a part option. So generally, Indian committee is morely common with Parliament's mandate. And I wouldn't be going too much into this. Can we go on to the next slide? Till this is everything clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Perfect. No one, no doubt, no one has any doubt, right? Perfect. Everything is clear. Excellent. Now you'll ask me, sir, how do I decide which type of country am I going to get? Now there are two bases on which you get a country, okay? Now the first base is on the basis of the agenda, okay? On the basis of the agenda, there are three types of countries you can get, okay? Three types of countries are very simple. I'll explain you with the help of an example, okay? There is a South China Sea dispute, okay? You all might have heard about the South China Sea dispute, right? Have you all heard about the South China Sea dispute? Okay, excellent. Now, one you can get is primary stakeholder countries. What do I mean by the primary stakeholder country? Is जो countries agenda में directly involved. China, you have Japan, and all these countries are directly involved. So they come under primary stakeholder countries. Next is secondary stakeholder countries. You can get just say comparatively lower involvement but are indirectly involved. Indonesia, then Philippines. These countries were indirectly involved in South China Sea dispute. Non-stakeholders. Just a minute. Apologies. Give me 1 minute. Yes. Third is non-stakeholder countries. जैसे South China dispute में Sweden. मतलब वो तो कहाँ stakeholder है यार, कहाँ उसका एजेंडा में इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, करेक्ट? Am I very clear? Am I very clear on how on the basis of agenda countries? Okay, yes, Saili, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
You have any doubts, Saili?
No.
Okay. Right. Maitri has asked me a question. I'll address it right now itself. Are we allotted these countries or are we supposed to select them? You get to choose your preference, but however, your final allotment comes on from the secretariat side. Okay. You can give your preference, but the secretariat will choose the final district. Okay. Is this very clear? This is on one basis you can classify your country. Can we move on to the next slide? What is foreign policy? Foreign policy is a relation of one country with another. इंडिया पाकिस्तान के बीच में रिश्ता, वो हुआ इंडिया की फॉरेन पॉलिसी. ठीक है? इंडिया का रिश्ता विद एनी अदर कंट्री, दैट इज इंडियाज फॉरेन पॉलिसी. सो हैव यू अंडरस्टूड व्हाट फॉरेन पॉलिसी इज? बहुत लेमन लैंग्वेज में बोला मैंने. आई हैव नॉट यूज्ड एनी टेक्निकल टर्म. Relation of one country with another. Is this clear? Before I go at this slide, can I get a yes in the chat box? Excellent, excellent. Next, countries like USA and UK. Oh, can I Can I go on the, yeah, thank you. Countries like USA and UK have a comparatively fixed, dynamic foreign policy, which is versatile to understand. They have bit relations with other countries which which have a lot of history behind it. Okay. On the other hand, countries like Sweden, Norway don't have a stringent foreign policy. Okay, these are the two types of classification you can classify. Now, these are the basis you can classify this. You can classify your country. Now, can I get back to the previous slide? Excellent. What I recommend you all to start with is non-stakeholder country. Try start with preferring apply as a delegate for a non-stakeholder country. Okay. Generally, if you register early, the secretariat will consider your preference. Why? Because you do not have any obligation to defend someone or defend anything. That is a reason why I recommend you all to try on the basis of non-stakeholder committee. If you believe in this form of classification, can we go on the next slide? At the other hand, if you want to classify countries on this basis, I would recommend start with countries having static foreign policy like Sweden and Norway, which do not have a fixed foreign policy. Can we go on to the next slide? Right. Coming to the classification. You are like, sir, you explained us what are the committees, what are the countries, what after that, sir, research kaise kare? Why I explained the previous part is because of this. Research for MUNs, according to me, is classified into 3 types: agenda-based, country-based, and committee-based. I told you about committees. I told you about countries. Agenda is simple, the topic at hand. In simple words, okay? These are the 3 bases on which you have to research always. This is my opinion. Again, this is my style in which I research. I share with you all so that even you all get a clear idea and picture on, oh, this is one of the ways I could also go ahead with. Based on it, you can prepare n number of methodology. But I want you all to understand this, that this is one of the ways you could consider. Can we go on to the next slide? Is everything clear till here? I will take doubts if there's any. Okay, India comparatively has a static foreign policy is what I would classify according to me, because India has a comparatively neutral relation, but it's changing. But it's changing with time. I see only one doubt which has come to me. Fine. Perfect. Perfect. Now, agenda-based research. Okay. I'll tell you all what I have prepared a timeline for you all. Ideally, according to me, for a beginner, it should take 10 days maximum. Static means has a relatively neutral or a fixed foreign policy. It does not change. That nation's policy does not change. It's very neutral. Purva. It's very, very neutral in my words. Just as Sweden, it has very fixed relation with countries. It's very rare it changes. Unlike if you see United States, UK, China, the FP continuously changes. And Sweden can also become dynamic with time, but it's relatively neutral. Is that clear, Purva?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Agenda-based research includes following things: past history related to the agenda. How do you research for the agenda? Can anyone just tell me one random international issue after 1945? Any issue which is a concern till date? Anything which comes to your mind? Okay.
Women's rights.
Okay, excellent. Issue of women rights. Okay. In a particular place we can take. So let's take issue of deliberation about women rights in Middle East. Okay. Now, the first thing you have to do in the agenda is read the past history. First thing, okay. First thing. Let's say this is the agenda. Ki women's ka issue ho raha hai. There's an issue in particular part of the world with women and you have to debate upon it. पहले कैसा था women का issue? पहले क्या क्या होता था? वो पढ़ना सबसे पहला जरूरी है. Which side to go at, I will come to. But I'm going to first tell the segments which you have to focus on. Next है, आज के दिन पे situation क्या है? ये 2 चीज सबसे पहले पढ़ना. To read these 2 things is of utmost importance. Am I very clear till here? I might use Hindi in between. I hope it's okay with the audience here. And is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Excellent. Can we go on to the next slide? I told you 2 points. Agenda pe when we research, we can research on first thing you have to read the past history, then the current event. Now, I will explain with this. Let's say you have a pizza. Okay. I get a pizza for you all. Each of you, we get a pizza. Just unmute and tell me logical question. Can we eat the pizza as a whole as it is in the mouth? Just straight away stuff it.
No, we can.
We can't, right?
No, we
It is
can't.
not possible, right? Excellent. So treat your agenda as a pizza always. Okay. Now, what do we do with the pizza? Don't we divide it in slices? Right? We
Yes.
eat slice by slice.
Yes,
Correct?
right.
Just as we divide the pizza into slices, we need to always divide the agenda into slices. Slice it into small subtopics. Okay. Always. Now you'll ask, sir, how many subtopics we need to prepare? I would honestly recommend prepare minimum 20 subtopics. List बनाओ छोटी छोटी जो तुम्हारे मन में regarding the agenda. It should be related to the agenda. Am I very clear? I'll tell you the reason why I make subtopics. When you want to discuss anything in general, you need to discuss it in parts. That's when the discussion becomes fruitful or discussion holds the importance. If you discuss randomly, blatantly as a whole, would the discussion be fruitful?
No.
Exactly. That is why I hope you all understood why it is important to divide it into slices.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Excellent. Next point, your country's role. What do I mean by that? Let's say you are China and the agenda is South China Sea. Up China has done so many things in this agenda. Correct? You have to read in detail. Oh, my country did this, that. And whatever a nation does, they have a reason behind it. You have to try and find that. What reason you have? What reason is there? Okay? Next, finding out the key issues of the agenda. Okay? There's a whole agenda, you divide it into subtopics, but there's something which is the main issue, right? Let's say South China Sea, what's the main issue? Which part of the South China Sea belongs to whom? Which part of the territory or the islands there belongs to whom? Isn't this one of the main issue?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Similarly, let's say there's a refugee crisis. What's the main issue? The human rights violation happening with refugees. What about their jobs and basic employment? These are basic issues. So you have to have an art of finding out the main issues. Okay. Now comes the very interesting part. Going for a pestle or SWOT analysis. This is again a recommendation. What is pestle? Can anyone tell me, have you heard about this word pestle?
No. No, sir.
No.
Okay, I will tell you what the full form is. I'll tell it slowly, okay? This is an abbreviation which is made and this is followed to some extent, okay? P stands for political, E stands for economical, S stands for social, T stands for technological, E stands for environmental, and L stands for legal. So what you need to do is, generally I recommend something to all the beginners who want to start, and I'll recommend this to all. Do a CES, cause, effect, solution. Agenda ke causes ढूंढो, effect ढूंढो, solution ढूंढो. I'll tell you why search for causes first. I'll give this example. Let's say my stomach is paining, okay? My stomach is paining. I go to a doctor. Tell me, someone unmute and tell me, will the doctor ask me, Hari, kitna dard ho raha hai? Ki will he try and find out the cause of my stomach ache?
The cause.
We'll
We'll try to find out the cause.
Exactly. He'll try and find the cause of the stomach ache. Similarly, as a delegate who's representing a country, your key objective should be that of what the actual UN has, the actual UN aims for, to maintain international peace and harmony, for which you need solutions. Can the doctor give me medicines directly without finding the cause of the stomach ache?
No.
What
No.
he has to do? He has to find the cause of it. Similarly, at the end of the day, what is our aim? I've bolted solutions for the agenda at hand. What we have to find? Cause. Causes कैसे ढूंढोगे? Cause के साथ pestle जोड़ दो. Political cause, environmental cause, economic cause, social cause, technological cause, legal cause. तो तुम्हें इधर जाके 6-7 सब टॉपिक ऐसे ही मिल गए. The first pointer where I've mentioned it is correlated with the fourth point. Are you all getting it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Very clear,
sir.
understandable.
Yes. Yeah.
Am I going
Yes,
very
sir,
fast?
completely.
No,
No.
it's fine.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Yes, Avan, I will address your doubt. I'm coming to that. Next is SWOT analysis. Okay. SWOT analysis to be done with your country. Okay. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Okay. I'll come to this when we talk about country based research. This is agenda based research. Okay. Next is solution at hand. Again, Avan, right? We can have two types of solution, temporary and permanent. But the solutions have to be original. The solution have to be practical. You have to think about it. Okay. To find out solutions, you have to read. Past में कभी solutions डाला था क्या? ये implement क्यों नहीं हुआ? ये ठीक क्यों नहीं हुआ? Okay. Can we move on to the next slide? Yeah. Is agenda-based research clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. 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 Now,
So what
it-
does the SWOT mean?
I will come right now. I'll come right now. I'm explaining country-based research. I'll explain it here. Okay.
Okay.
Country-based research basically means being aware of the basic details of the country. Sejal, can you stop the screen sharing for a minute if you're okay with? I just want to share something. I will show you all how to find your country-based research instantly. One good site, okay? Just give me a minute. Is my screen share visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just have a look at what I'm typing. This is not a proper, this should not be always quoted. This is just for your understanding, okay? So just put I'm country profile of France. Example, I'm France, okay? Are you seeing this first link?
Yes.
All of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just click
Yes,
on it,
sir.
Yes, sir.
okay? Now, did you see? I get every detail about France. Do you see this? I get basic details. Where is it located? Which continent? Population? I again get connected profiles of my very own country. Now coming at, apart from key statistics, look at this. Till 2012, I get a history of France. I'm sorry. History of France, okay? Then I get which organization is France associated with. Did you all have a look? Isn't this site helpful?
Yes.
Look at it.
Yes,
Bilateral relations,
Yes.
UN data, news sources, government sources of France. What is France stance on so and so issue? So I'll just show you. Let's say I want to read the history of France. You will go here, see on the history, click on history timeline. You get the entire history's gist. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Is this
Yes, sir.
this is for it. I'm country-based profile on put your country's name. See, I can choose another country here also. So I put, let's say, Angola. I'll get basic profile about Angola. See, getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's very helpful.
Yeah, excellent. So what I'll do is, I will just share the link with Sejal, Manas, or Tanmay. They could just share the link with you all. It will be helpful for you, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Completely.
we'll do that. Yes, someone raised the hand. I mean, I'm open to doubts. Anyone has any doubt at this point?
Yes, I just wanted to ask, but it's clear that can we see of other countries too?
Yeah. It's visible.
I mean, the history
Yeah.
and information.
Yes. You got it, right? Your doubt got cleared, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Sejal, can we have the presentation back? Excellent. So you all understood how to get basic details of the country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now coming to
Yes.
understanding the foreign policy of your country, relation of this country with the other country, for which you'll have to type and read out a lot of articles. Okay. Next is knowing basics of your domestic laws of your country. Which is the law of land in India? Can anyone tell? Apart from the OC members. Law of the land. क्या है इंडिया में law of the land क्या है? Come on, yaar, we Indians must know this. What is the law of our land? Any guess? No problem if it's wrong.
So can I answer?
Just a minute. Who is it?
Law of
Tanmay sir.
No, no, no. We would
All
recommend participants. If
All right.
participants don't answer, we'll have your answer. So for sure. Anyone? What is the law of the land in India? It's very simple.
Human rights.
Sorry?
Human rights.
No, no, no. Law of the land. किसको माना जाता है law of the land? No, no, Vihan. That's not the answer. Think. Very easy. It starts with
legal
C.
term.
It starts with a C. Giving you a hint.
Constitution.
Exactly. Knowing and understanding what your law of land is. Our country has fundamental. We as citizen, our country confers us fundamental rights. Our country is a secular nation. Our country is socialist. Our country is democratic. Our country is republic. Where do we get all this from? Our constitution. So it's very important you know what laws are there in your country. Regarding women rights violation, we have Protection of Domestic Violence Act. Regarding any crimes committed, we have the Indian Penal Code. So based on the agenda, you need to know your domestic laws. Okay. Now, one thing very important. There is a concept called sovereignty and sovereign immunity. I'm not going to go into the technicalities of it. We won't go there. All I want to tell you one statement. Try and understand this carefully. I am a delegate of India. For me, my domestic laws are superior than the international laws. Always remember this while you go for any conference. For any Indian diplomat, a constitution of India would be given first priority over the UN Charter. Understand this, okay? Am I very clear till this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How to research for your country? Very clear. Padho country ka gist. See about its foreign policy with other countries. You'll understand who are your allies, who are your enemies. Jot it down. Allies means countries whom your relations are good with. Enemies whom your relations are not that cordial with, or hostile is the word I could use rather than enemy. Hostile relations. Okay. Very clear till this. Are we good to go ahead?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone
Sure.
just tell me what are the two bases of research in which you can do two areas of research out of the three which we dealt with?
Agenda based and country
Past
based.
and
Excellent. Agenda based and country based. Excellent. What's the third type of research which I told? We're going to go ahead with.
Committee based.
Excellent. Fantastic. Can we move ahead to the third slide? Next slide. Sejal, is there a slide? Okay, fine. That's fine. Just Sejal, can we go to the previous slide? Yeah, that's fine. Now I'll tell you all in short about committee-based research. Okay. Let's say my committee is United Nations Human Rights Council. Okay. Now the Human Rights Council, I have to read about certain basic things. Okay. I think I missed out a slide on it. I apologize, but I'll tell you all in short. Committee-based research is basically what your committee's powers are. How many members does your committee have? What is the outcome document of your committee? Who presides over your committee? These are some basic details of the committee you need to know. Like Human Rights Council has 47 members. Rest are observers. Based on which you will get to know whether your country is a member or an observer. Getting it? If you're an observer, you don't get to vote in the final outcome document. Simple as that. No need to break your head in confusion. Next important thing for you to understand is what your committee can do, what your committee cannot do. Is it recommendational in nature, or does it have more powers? Can it condemn something? These things you'll understand by going to your committee site. So I'll just, Sejal, can you stop screen sharing? Now let's say I want to go and find out what my committee is capable of. Okay. What I'll do, my committee is UNHRC. Okay. I'm typing United Nations Human Rights Council. Okay. I go to it. This is the official site. Since it's written ohrc.org, I'll click on it. Okay. Just give me a minute. Right. This is a committee's official page. Okay. What I will be reading about UNHRC. I will read all this. I'll just have a read at this. to get a basic understanding. Go about HRC. See, what is the history of my committee? What is the power of my committee? Are you having a look at it? Participants, are you able to see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
Can-
Yes, sir.
See, these are the committees under the UNHRC. So I'll try and understand this. I'll see at the key documents. Okay. These are the ways you can understand about your committee. Okay, can anyone tell me any other committee? I'll tell you what is. Any other committee?
World Economic Forum.
Excellent. I'll type World Economic Forum. Now, see, wf.org. I click on it. I get this. Reports of World Economic Forum. I'll get to understand what are their powers, right? Which year, what report has come? Who has filed it? Are you able to see this? More
Yes,
about
sir.
what else? What is the power of the World Economic Forum? Okay, am I very clear on how to find about the committee?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Now, Sejal, can we share the PPT? Sejal, can we go to the timeline slide? I've prepared a short timeline for you all delegates who wish to aspire to MUN in future, and I have certain disclaimers. Disclaimers mean these are my notes for you to understand. Reading the agenda. First day after you register, you get your allotment, you should sit and read the agenda calmly. When you read, there are certain words you won't understand. What you should do? Immediately open the Oxford Dictionary, understand the meaning of the agenda. Okay? Am I very clear with what's the first step ideally you should do?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next step is you get a study guide generally from the executive board, which is an outline of what they expect from you or basic details of the agenda. You have to read it minimum twice. Study guide, I'm quoting this in inverted quotes. Study guide should be a starting point of the research and not the ending point of the research. This is said by many of EB members in the circuit, and I also will reiterate it. I also personally chair and I'll also emphasize on this. Am I very clear with this?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Third step is starting with country-based research. I've told you all clearly what you have to do in country-based research, correct?
Yes.
sir.
Next,
Yes, sir.
committee-based research. I just now told you all what to do in committee-based research.
Yes,
Followed
sir.
by which agenda-based research from day 7 to day 9. Okay. Again, I've explained this. I'm coming to the last step, compiling and arranging. What do I mean? You've read about your agenda, you read about your committee, you've read about your country, and you have your subtopics ready and key issues ready. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Compiling and arranging means preparing your speeches on the subtopic based on all your research that you have. Okay. It has to be in identity of foreign policy. The speech has to be based on what your committee can do. It has to be related to the agenda. And do you want me to explain you all how to make a speech in simple way?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please, sir.
Sure. So let's say the agenda is causes of South China Sea dispute. Now, in the causes, there are various causes, right? One is the 9-dash line or what? Okay, I'll keep it simple. Global warming. Global warming has 100 causes, correct? Car pollution and so on, correct? Various types of pollution, right? What I basically do is divide my subtopics into subtopics. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'll give you an example. How do I begin my speech? Okay, is it anyone on unmute? Okay. I'll just tell you. So, the basic way is greetings, respected executive board and fellow delegates. Always, it's not every speech you should greet it. At least the first time you speak, always greet the EB member and the fellow delegates of the committee. Delegate of so-and-so would like to discuss dash. By dash, I mean causes of delegate of so-and-so, delegate of Canada would like to discuss on causes of global warming, in which I'd like to divide my speech into two subparts. Part 1, where I'll be talking about how pollution is a cause of global warming. Part 2, how respective stakeholders have to participate in global warming. In part 1, I will state the relevant content. Part 2, I'll state the relevant content and conclude my speech. Did you understand how I structured my speech?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is a way to structure a speech.
So could you please repeat it once again? I'm really sorry.
No problem. Let's say the topic is causes of global warming. What I'll be doing is greetings. Greetings, respected executive board and fellow delegates. I'll first greet the EB members and delegates only when I'm speaking for the first time. Okay. Rest of the time, whenever you're recognized, you thank the EB member. Simple. After which you go on to state that delegate of Canada, let's say I'm delegate of Canada, would like to address today a major important aspect, which is the causes of global warming. I would like to never use I, he, she in MUN. You're always a delegate of so and so. Am I very clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes,
you
sir.
say
Yes,
delegate of so and so would like to divide this topic into two parts, two topics, two subparts. Part 1, so and so XYZ topic. Part 2, so and so topic. Part 1, pollutions as a cause of global warming. Part 2, role of stakeholders which have to be taken. Then you speak about part 1, then you speak about part 2, and you conclude your speech. Am I very clear?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic. With this, with a very holistic effort in all these segments, you would be in a good position to attend MUN. According to me, this is my recommended method of research. It is not laid down, prescribed by anyone. I expect you all to take this as a guidelines and not a कैसे बोलते हैं पता है, बहुत लकीर में एम्बेडेड कंटेंट नहीं है. इस पे तुम अपना बिल्ड कर सकते हो, अपना इनोवेशंस लाके रिसर्च करो. माय ओनली रिक्वेस्ट इज टेक इट फ्रॉम अ वेरी सब्जेक्टिव पर्सपेक्टिव. सब्जेक्टिव समझते हो ना? सब्जेक्टिव ऐसी चीज होती है जो आदमी से आदमी डिफर होती है. ठीक है, कल तुम्हें कोई और आके कुछ और मेथड बता के जाएगा, बट ये जस्ट मेरी एक्सपीरियंस है. मैं इसके लिए तुम्हारे साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ ताकि तुम्हें फ्यूचर एमयूएन्स में आइडियाज मिले कैसे की जा सकती है रिसर्च. ठीक है, with this I would like to conclude my part of addressing on how to research. I've given this recommended timeline which you all can follow. It ideally 10 days is more than enough. With time you can even research within 4 or 3 days. All that requires is dedication and patience. Before I will take up doubts, one very important message from my end. Months are not a career. Months have to be treated like a sport. Please consider these two words very important from my end. I've been to XYZ number of conferences with experience, and almost it's been 3.5-4 years I'm a part of the circuit now. I'm telling you with experience, this is not a career option. This is just treat it like a sport. Take it easy, not too seriously. And trust me, number of months doesn't matter. Live the moment of it. Don't do months solely for the sake of award. I understand initially it becomes very you get very into it, but with time understand it from a holistic perspective. And this is not the only thing you need to focus on. There are much more. Treat it like a sport and a co-curricular activity. Thank you so much. I will be taking up doubts right now. Over to you, Manas.
Yeah, thank you, Vignesh sir, so much for your insights. And now we'll be moving on to the questions. Like most of the questions were answered by you itself during the session. If we have any more questions, participants can unmute themselves and ask, or you can post it on the chat box. Yeah.
So we have a question here from Lakshmi Gandhi ma'am. Is it that we are going to debate on the country we have been given or allotted?
Just give me a minute, Tanmay. Just a
All
minute.
right.
Yeah. Yes, Tanmay, we could proceed with the first question. Apologies, I had a net issue. Yeah.
No worries. So the first question was, is it that we are going to debate on the country we have been allotted?
Yes, yes. The answer is yes. You have to represent that country and debate as a representative of that country.
All right, we have another question from Shraddha Yevle. Will our relations with the country will be based on real relations?
Yes, 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 yes. It will be based on purely real relations, how the relations are currently going on. It has to be on that basis.
Sir,
Yes, yes. Please go ahead, Manas.
a follow up to that question, the previous question. Should we like 100% stick to the relations, or could we vary?
Yeah, Manas. So it's a good question. It's ideally recommended you stick to what your actual country's foreign policies are at the current scenario. But again, at times there are countries which foreign policies are not very fixed. Like I told you, countries with dynamic foreign policy, like USA, UK. There it might happen. You have to consider a lot of factors and build your foreign policy on. So in certain rare circumstances, you'll have to analyze 2-3 factors and then decide your foreign policy on.
Right.
Any other questions?
So I have a question from my end.
Yes, yes.
So as you said about research, like you gave some steps to research. Could you please enumerate some sources of research which could be
Definitely.
quite credible?
Definitely. So this is a very good question. Again, this is something which I didn't cover, and I'll cover one more thing along with it, Tanmay, is which are the good MUN conferences in Mumbai which one must attend. This is definitely in my there are hundreds of MUNs going on, most of them online. Which are the ones with good legacy, good executive board, and quality debate which one can find. I'll even enumerate on that. Coming to sources, main is the UN.org. Any source from UN website, UN press release, highly recommended. That is something which could be cited and quoted. And the most important source, your government's official site. Your government's official site. That is the most important source. And that is something which cannot be contended by anyone. Okay, these are the two primary important sources. Coming next is, I'll tell you all, there's a source called Thomson Reuters. It is the next most important credible source which I recommend you all to cite. Cite means पूछा तो कभी इस सब से facts निकाल के बोल. However, I recommend good readings and certain considerations from BBC. Apart from these 5 sources, I do not recommend much citing, and I recommend just a raw reading from other sources. My humble request, please do not pick up your speech from the Wikipedia, please. That's the only request I have. And Tanmay, I hope I've answered the question to the best of abilities and it's clear.
Yes, sir,
can you
definitely.
please-
Disha is not audible. Disha, can you just ask a question again? I'm so sorry.
Can you read the game once again?
Okay, I'll do one thing. Can we put it up on the chat box if that's convenient for the participants?
Yeah, sure, sir, sure.
Yeah, you all OC all want me to put it up on the chat box right now?
Yeah, okay.
Sure, I'll do it right now. Just a minute.
Or you could just send it to us afterwards, and yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll do one thing. Okay, I put it up anyways. Okay, so I'll just take a minute and put it up for everyone. Event.org government website. I'm so sorry. Then you have is Thomson Reuters. I recommend good reading of BBC. BBC stands for British Broadcasting Channel. And I recommend Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is something which could be considered for reading. If you Google Al Jazeera, you'll get it. But BBC, apologies, BBC and Al Jazeera considered a comparatively a bit biased source. We'll talk about this biasness and all. It's not a main concern right now. But all I recommend is do not prepare speeches based on data at Wikipedia. This is my recommendation. Please cross verify it once. Coming up to credible months. In Mumbai, one of the oldest, one of the finest MUN is the prestigious Government Law College Model United Nations. Government Law College Model United Nations is one of the oldest MUNs at Mumbai, very prestigious to attend. And I would really recommend you all to attend with time. It's a competitive conference. I'd recommend you all to attend with time. I'll put up the name simultaneously, GLC MUN. Next comes is VJMUN, that is VJTI MUN, which is very old and prestigious. Followed by which I really recommend is TechFest World MUN, organized by IIT Bombay. I really recommend you all to attend this conference as well. Now, another conference which has rised like anything in the circuit. I'm not just saying because I'm associated with it. You could ask any circuit stakeholder. It is none other than the very own WASEMAN, which has absolutely improvised in terms, and it has come to a very good benchmark. It set benchmark this edition in terms of the conference legacy. Followed by which I really recommend this one known as MUN Sophical, which is very old and prestigious for you all to attend. There is TCET MUN organized by Thakur College. You could even attend this prestigious conference as Mumbai MUN. So they're very good conferences out. These are some of the lists. And there are more. This conference called as Sakek MUN, which is again 10 years old. You could even attend this. So these are some of the prestigious conferences. I put the names in the chat box. You can check the Instagram handles. So these are prestigious conferences which you could attend. Over to you, Tanmay, for any other questions.
Yeah, actually, we have one more question. Yeah, if one has been to a MUN before, would you recommend going for the same committee with an agenda on the similar lines to the previous one because one would have substantial research for the same, or should we explore new committees? Vignesh, sir.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, so sorry. I was unable to unmute myself. So basically, to explain, I'm so sorry. Just give me. Right. In terms of committee, I would really recommend do whichever committee you like, whichever. But in starting, I don't recommend you to attend security councils because it takes a bit of time for you to understand. But apart from that, you can attend anything. You love to talk about economics, go to ECOSOC. You love humanitarian issues, go to HRCs. You want to experience how GA committees work, go to any of those 6 committees. After a point of time, go to go to the United Nations Security Council simulations, because they're a bit, this is my opinion. Again, you all are free to go even in SC in your first MUN, but you all can go to SC as per your choice. But I recommend after at least 6 or 7 conferences, you can go to UNSC. This is my suggestion. Apart from that, you can go to any committee you want. But starting may try attend HRCs few, because it will help you and it gives you help you build confidence. Yes.
Okay. One more question. What are the roles of the non-stakeholder countries in a model UN?
Right. Very interesting. Non-stakeholders understand one thing. The objectives of UN. Read the objectives of UN. Okay. Every member of the UN has a role to play in maintaining international peace and harmony. So is the objective of the non-stakeholder. You are a stakeholder, you will contribute for the well-being and prosperity of the global peace. As simple as that. Yes, Manas, any other question?
Yeah. Okay, we have run out of questions on the chat box. If anyone would be willing to ask a live question, you're more than welcome.
Delegates, don't worry, don't hesitate. Participants, don't hesitate. If you want to ask any, don't think if it's a silly doubt. It might not be, don't worry. It's just that we think too much at times. You know, what will people think? Bindas. This is a time for you to know something new, right?
Yeah, exactly. And no doubt is a silly doubt. Everything is important.
Sir, I actually thought of a doubt, like one point that you could elaborate on, that while some of the people present here would also be the OC members, and at a point of time they'll have to make the study guides as well, from where the delegates would be researching. So, like, could you, in brief, give some tips on how to make a good study guide? Like, what are the prerequisites? I mean, with terms to the information that needs to be in there, or in general, what a study guide is?
Right. I'll keep it very simple, Tanmay, to make everyone understand. I won't go on technical nuances. I avoid it. I'll tell it very simple way. A study guide should be such thing which gives delegates a basic gist of the agenda. Any delegate who reads the study guide comes at least understands the agenda in and out. Oh, this happened. This is a war between these two countries. This situation between these two countries. He's a direct stakeholder. He's an indirect stakeholder. This has happened. This understanding should come from the study guide. Accordingly, they must do what it takes to make it. It must essentially consider the history, the key issues, the questions which the committee must address in particular. Now, a lot of things are related to even the rules which are going to be followed in the committee, or rules which an MUN follows. I'm not going to that because the mandate given to me by the organizing committee is to discuss particularly on research aspect. Hence, I won't be touching that area because this collaterally relates to it.
All right, sir.
Okay, if we do not have any more questions,
Manas, I see one question.
okay, yeah. Okay, so the MUN are based on real life scenarios or fictional episodes of OC?
Real life international issues. No fictional. One more thing, my personal recommendation, please don't attend fictional committees like Harry Potter, Friends. Please. That's my humble request to all of you all, my humble piece of suggestion. Please don't attend fictional committees. Ones are purely based on international issues. Please attend conventional UN committees or at least attend Indian committees. For God's sake, please do not attend those Harry Potter, Friends, what else? I mean, committee could have been made of anything. Tomorrow we'll have Doraemon committee, Chota Beam committee. I don't know what extent thinking goes to exact Avengers. I mean, what else to say? I mean, please, there is a purity of Mans in terms of its debate. It gets lost when you go to all these committees. And there's a professionalism which is maintained in Mans. It gets lost, it gets disappeared. What debate are people going to have in Friends? I mean, what? So I highly recommend please don't attend such committees. Any other doubt?
Okay. So we have run out of questions on the chat box. Sir, do we have your permission to move to the vote of thanks then?
Sure. Definitely.
Okay. So greetings. First off, I would like to I would like to express my special thank of gratitude to our speaker for the evening, Mr. Vignesh Narayanan, and for giving us such an in-depth information about how to research for a model UN conference. A special thanks to Dr. B.B. Sharma, the principal of VG Vazir College, and our faculty in charge, Ms. Sangeeta Aher, for giving us, for being there for us and giving us amazing opportunities like this. I would lastly like to thank Mr. Tanmay Patel for being such an amazing host today. And thank you everyone. I would like to request Vignesh Narayanan sir to please stay back and the OC members can leave.
Sure. Thank you so much, Manas, Sejal, Tanmay, everyone from the OC. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I hope you had an insightful session.
Sir, it is our pleasure to have you.
Yes, Vignesh, it was good to see you talk. And
Tanmay, you
of
can
course,
stop
everybody.
recording now.
Sorry?
You can
Oh,
stop
right. I'm sorry.